Are you okay?
Tell me, Randall, what exactly is it about me that's so desirable?
She said my husband's not using his.
I love you. I love you. I really.
I'm not gonna get better.
You need to get your stuff out of my apartment.
The movie begins, Jamie working as a sales assistant at an electronics store. His charm and persuasive skills make him a favorite among customers, as he has a knack for selling just about anything. During his shift, Jamie often flirts with Christy, a co-worker whose boyfriend, Jerry, is visibly displeased with their interactions. Meanwhile, Jamie and Christy sneak into a private room. However, their plans go awry when Christy's phone slips out of her bag and accidentally calls Jerry. Hearing their intimate encounter, Jerry storms in and confronts them in a fit of anger. Jamie, now disheveled and embarrassed, quickly leaves the scene. Back on the sales floor, Jamie's attention shifts to Amber, an attractive customer. Seizing the opportunity, he hands her his business card, eager to spark a new connection. However, before he can pursue this further, Jerry's anger gets the better of him. That evening, Jamie sits quietly at a family dinner as the conversation centers on work and achievements. His parents praise Josh, his younger brother, for his career success, but when Jamie is mentioned, his mother highlights his tech skills. Josh, however, reveals that Jamie recently lost his job. Embarrassed but determined, Jamie explains he's still figuring things out, and Josh suggests he consider a career in pharmaceuticals for its financial potential. The discussion shifts to sales and medicine, piquing Jamie's interest. Later, on the porch, Jamie takes a call from Amber, and Josh jokes that Jamie could profit from his charm with women. Inspired by Josh's advice, Jamie decides to explore pharmaceuticals and attends a company training session. At the session, a dynamic speaker emphasizes the lucrative potential of pharmaceutical sales. Inspired, Jamie dives into the program, practicing tirelessly at home to excel. His dedication impresses the program's curator, who begins to personally mentor him. After completing the training, Jamie is sent to Ohio for his first assignment. There, he meets Bruce Jackson, the local manager, who guides him through his initial steps in the pharmaceutical sales world. Jamie's first task as a pharmaceutical consultant, as Bruce puts it, is straightforward: to generate profit. On a rainy day near a local hospital, Jamie struggles to engage with doctors, but his attempts are ignored. Frustrated, he and Bruce retreat to the lobby for coffee. There, Jamie strikes up a conversation with a blonde woman, catching Bruce's attention. Impressed by Jamie's smooth approach, Bruce asks for tips on women. Leading to a casual exchange, Jamie shares dating strategies, and Bruce offers sales advice. While waiting, they notice Trey Hannigan, a rival rep, confidently skipping the line to meet a doctor. Recognizing the futility of waiting, Jamie moves on to another clinic. There, he charms the receptionist into displaying his company's samples prominently.
Look at you, angels of mercy.
However, as he unpacks the products, the clinic's doctor passes by and, displeased with the unsolicited promotion, shows clear disapproval. Thinking quickly, Jamie discreetly stashes a competitor's medication samples into his suitcase, just as the receptionist, Cindy, asks him to leave. Outside the clinic, a homeless man watches curiously as Jamie, dressed sharply in a suit, tosses the rival's boxes of drug samples into a nearby dumpster, determined to clear the way for his own success. The next day, Jamie returns to the clinic with flowers for Cindy and her assistant, using his charm to strengthen their rapport. His efforts pay off, allowing him to refine a strategy to ensure the clinic's pharmacy stocks his company's drugs. Meanwhile, the homeless man outside continues to gather the discarded medication samples Jamie throws away, remaining an unnoticed but recurring figure. In the elevator, Jamie encounters the blonde woman again, who bluntly dismisses him, citing his lack of status as unappealing. Later, during lunch, Bruce criticizes Jamie's poor performance and advises him to focus on building relationships with influential doctors. He specifically recommends reaching out to Dr. Stan, a key ally of their competitor, Trey. Jamie approaches Stan at the clinic and offers him a monetary incentive to gain insider access to the doctor's preferences and needs. Stan, after brief hesitation, agrees. The next day, Jamie accompanies Stan around the clinic, posing as his assistant to gather valuable insights. In the waiting room, a woman named Maggie confronts Stan, complaining that her medication has been stolen.
And they took my Parkinson's meds.
Jamie listens carefully, realizing that this could complicate his efforts and perhaps expose the underhanded tactics he's employed to edge out his competitors. When Stan prescribes Maggie new medication, Jamie subtly suggests a drug from his company, which Stan recommends as part of her treatment. During their discussion, Stan informs Maggie of her early-stage Parkinson's diagnosis, leaving her visibly shaken. She also points out a strange pimple on her chest, briefly exposing the area for Stan's opinion. Jamie, nearby, glances out of curiosity, earning a suspicious look. Later, as Jamie organizes medication samples in his car trunk, Maggie approaches him. Discovering he's a pharmaceutical rep, her anger flares. She accuses him of exploiting her situation for profit. Expressing her disgust, caught off guard, Jamie struggles to explain as Maggie storms off. During a later encounter, Jamie clumsily tries to start a conversation with Maggie, nervously offering to buy her coffee. Unimpressed, she snaps a picture of him and walks away. Shortly after, Jamie chats with Cindy on the phone about clubbing plans, but shifts the topic to finding a way to get Maggie's number through a mutual acquaintance. Their call ends abruptly when Josh, distressed, interrupts to share that his wife has kicked him out for watching inappropriate movies. After calming Josh down, Jamie refocuses on Maggie. Jamie eventually contacts Maggie and convinces her to meet for a casual outing. They meet at the cafe where Maggie works, and during their conversation, she playfully offers him a bite of her food, hinting at a growing sense of ease between them. Back at Maggie's house, their connection deepens as they share an intimate night together, forging a stronger bond. Maggie begins to genuinely enjoy Jamie's company, and their relationship evolves with a sense of shared spontaneity, often leading them into unexpected adventures. One evening, Maggie surprises Jamie with a late-night visit. Her unannounced arrival leaves him thrilled, though even Jamie's brother, who happens to be nearby, can't help but notice her appearance. Amid their growing intimacy, Jamie shares vulnerable details about his past, revealing a deeper side of himself. The next morning, outside the clinic near the garbage cans, Trey confronts Jamie. He warns him about recklessly discarding drug samples and getting too close to Maggie. After issuing his caution, Trey walks away. Moments later, a homeless man lingering nearby approaches Jamie, asking if he has any leftover samples. Back inside the clinic, Jamie faces a chilly reception from the staff. Cindy, in particular, seems upset after learning about Jamie's questionable actions and growing reputation. Feeling unwelcome, Jamie decides to step away and buys takeout before heading to Maggie's place. At Maggie's house, their conversation turns serious as she voices concerns about their relationship, worrying that their casual connection might evolve into something deeper she isn't ready for. Sensing her unease, Jamie shifts the topic, asking about Trey before retreating to the restroom to collect his thoughts. Later, Maggie considers brushing her teeth, but instead decides to give Jamie a massage to help him relax. However, her interest wanes after he brings up his ex, making him seem less appealing in her eyes. Despite this, the evening remains lighthearted. Maggie talks about the new pill his company is developing, and Jamie shares some exercise tips. Their playful exchange leads to them spending the night together. The next morning, as Jamie gets ready for work, Maggie struggles with her worsening symptoms while trying to open a biscuit. Frustrated and overwhelmed, she tells Jamie not to contact her again.
I can't do this.
Leaving him unsettled as he departs. That evening, Bruce gives Jamie and Josh a ride, using the time to criticize Jamie for his poor sales performance. Josh, dealing with his own marital issues, vents about his strained relationship, adding to the tension. Distracted by Maggie's remarks about the ramen pill, Jamie brings it up during their conversation. Bruce, skeptical, questions Jamie's knowledge and ability, doubting whether he can handle such an important product. The trio ends up at a bar, where they run into Trey and Stan. Jamie greets them, but the conversation quickly sours when Maggie's name comes up. Trey, visibly annoyed, loses his temper and storms out. Trying to salvage the night, Jamie suggests introducing Stan to some women at the bar, attempting to lighten the mood. Later that night, Jamie finds himself missing Maggie and wanting to see her, though she remains firm about keeping her distance and hanging up the phone on him when he tells her that he wants to hear her voice. Josh, noticing Jamie's distraction, teases him about his apparent infatuation. Meanwhile, Maggie focuses on planning a trip to Canada for elderly patients. Determined to reconnect, Jamie spends the night outside her house, waiting for her. At dawn, when Maggie returns home, his persistence touches her, leaving her visibly moved.
Have you been here all night?
Yes.
Back at Maggie's house, their connection reignites with newfound intensity, as if rediscovering each other. Meanwhile, Bruce delivers a batch of the new pills Jamie requested. Seizing the opportunity, Jamie aggressively promotes the product, which quickly gains traction. His growing success makes him a regular and welcomed presence at clinics across the city, boosting his professional reputation. One evening, Maggie surprises Jamie to celebrate his achievements. They commemorate the occasion with a playful video recording, but the moment also brings a quiet realization. Their relationship has become more serious than they expected. Spending nearly all their free time together, they fully embrace their deepening bond. During a late-night call with his mother, Jamie mentions the pills he's been selling and the praise Maggie has given him. His mother subtly suggests that Maggie may have exaggerated to build his confidence. Reflecting on this, Jamie considers being honest about his insecurities, but Maggie redirects the conversation, encouraging him to focus on his strengths. When Jamie struggles to articulate them, Maggie steps in, offering a heartfelt perspective of him that he hadn't considered. At a bar, Jamie shares stories about the pill with a group of new associates, including the blonde woman from the elevator. Her flirtatious behavior challenges Jamie's commitment to Maggie and tests the boundaries of their growing relationship. Choosing to stay true, Jamie introduces Lisa to Stan before heading back to Maggie. Later, while with Maggie, she notices Jamie's rapid heartbeat during a kiss and expresses concern for his health.
It's okay. Talk to me.
Jamie confesses that it's not a health issue. It's the first time he's ever told someone he loves them. This heartfelt revelation strengthens their bond, marking a significant step in their relationship. Back at home, Jamie is stunned to find his brother Josh watching a private video of him and Maggie. Furious at the invasion of privacy, Jamie chastises Josh, but the moment is quickly overshadowed by Maggie's worsening condition. Struggling to open a jar of medication, she discovers her supply has run out. At the clinic, Jamie learns Maggie has been replacing her pills with alcohol to cope, leaving him deeply alarmed. Stan invites Jamie to a medical conference in Chicago. Hesitant at first, Jamie convinces Stan to replace Trey's medications with his company's product and decides to bring Maggie along. At the conference, Maggie meets a group of Parkinson's patients whose support inspires her to confess her love for Jamie. Jamie dives into researching treatments for Parkinson's, consulting Stan, and exploring every option to help Maggie. However, his growing fixation on her illness overwhelms her. Wanting to regain control of her life, Maggie ends their relationship despite Jamie's pleas. Heartbroken, they part ways, with Maggie determined to move forward independently. After the breakup, Jamie immerses himself in work but struggles emotionally. When Stan asks him to deliver pills to Lisa's pajama party, Jamie reluctantly agrees. The night takes a strange turn when Lisa spikes his drink with intimacy pills, leaving him dazed. Meanwhile, Josh awkwardly navigates his new relationship in another room. The next morning, feeling off, Jamie borrows Josh's car and rushes to the hospital. On the way, Josh thanks him for his support during the breakup. At the clinic, Jamie learns he's been promoted, but the news feels hollow as his thoughts remain on Maggie. While celebrating his promotion, Jamie sees Maggie at a cafe with someone else. Her reaction to his plans to leave town stays with him. Later, finding an old video of them,
Right. Jamie something.
he drops everything to intercept her bus to Canada, confessing his love and asking for another chance. In the end, Jamie stays with Maggie, enrolling in medical school and embracing their future together, happy with his choice. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video.